Known to the world as Dolly, Walburga's life was anything but ordinary. From a forbidden affair to a murder that shocked the nation, Dolly's secrets were buried literally in the attic, a place where one man would live for 10 years, hidden from the world, until it all came crashing down in a deadly confrontation. What led her to make choices that would alter her life and the lives of those around her forever? Let's uncover the truth behind the most chilling love triangle in American crime history. Dolly was born Walburga Oesterreich in 1880 to German immigrant parents. She grew up in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin area among a community of fellow German immigrants. Dolly was by all accounts an attractive and charismatic girl. She married Fred William Oesterreich, a wealthy textile manufacturer. At the age of 17, Fred worked long hours. But Dolly had needs, and Fred was either too busy or too drunk to meet them. From the beginning of the marriage, Dolly was rumored to have invited many lovers into her home during the day while Fred was at work. One warm autumn day in 1913, when she was 33, Dolly found that her sewing machine wasn't working. She called Fred to vent her frustration, and he promised to send over a repairman. The young man that showed up to fix it was 17-year-old Otto Sanhuber. Dolly must have figured that Fred would send Otto over because she knew the teenager worked for Fred at the factory. When Otto arrived, he was met by the alluring Dolly, wearing only a robe and stockings. Thus began a bizarre affair that would last a decade. At first, Dolly and Otto conducted their relationship in the usual secretive manner, meeting in hotels to continue their affair. After a while, meeting outside the home became burdensome, and the two began to make love in the Oesterreich's bed. Soon, though, nosy neighbors began asking about the man who'd been hanging around. Dolly told them he was her vagabond half-brother. After realizing they were drawing attention to themselves, Dolly decided that Otto should take up residence in the attic of the Oesterreich home, which was accessible through a panel in the ceiling of the closet of the bedroom Dolly shared with her husband. Otto was supplied with a cot, food, a lamp, books, and writing materials. During the day, he would perform housework in the residence. At night, he would live in total silence in the attic, reading and writing science fiction stories, which Dolly would mail to potential publishers for him. Otto would later describe himself as Dolly's sex slave and claim they made love up to 8 times a day. Fred reportedly started to hear strange noises from the attic, claimed that his cigars would disappear, and saw some shadows passing right outside his bedroom door at night. However, Dolly dismissed them as her husband seemingly imagining things. For 5 years, Dolly and Otto carried on this odd relationship, with Otto living in the cramped attic. In 1918, the Oesterreichs moved to Los Angeles. Dolly agreed to the move on the condition that she would choose their new home, deliberately picking a house with an attic. Dolly sent Otto there early, so he'd be waiting for her when she arrived, where their affair resumed for another 4 years. On August 22, 1922, after overhearing a loud argument between the Oesterreichs and believing Dolly to be in danger, Otto emerged from the attic and retrieved 2.25 caliber pistols from the bedroom bureau. In the ensuing struggle, Otto shot Fred 3 times, killing him. The two lovers then hastily staged the scene to look like a botched burglary. Dolly gave Otto all the cash in the bedroom, as well as Fred's diamond watch. Otto then locked Dolly in a closet and tossed aside the key before returning to the attic with the money, watch, and pistols. Upon being summoned by neighbors who reported the gunshots, the police, unaware of Otto's presence in the house, strongly suspected Dolly's involvement in the murder, but were unable to explain how she could have locked herself into the closet. Now that Dolly was a widow, she moved into a new house and continued on with her life. One would assume that she and Otto could eventually bring their relationship into the open, allowing Otto to have a normal life. But instead, when Dolly moved, her voluntary, live-in sex slave took up residence in her attic. Again, the only notable change in the relationship was that Otto was permitted a typewriter, as there was no longer anyone to hear it. By this time, Dolly was also carrying on an affair with her personal attorney, Herman Shapiro, whom she had hired after being suspected for Fred's murder. But, like Dolly's first husband, Shapiro spent long hours away due to his profession. So what did Dolly do? She found herself another lover, Roy Klum. After Clum and Dolly broke up on unfriendly terms, in July 1923, he went to police and informed them that Dolly had given him a pistol shortly after the murder, asking him to dispose of it in the La Brea tar pits. A neighbor also told police that Dolly had given him yet another pistol shortly after the murder, asking him to dispose of it because it too closely resembled the gun that killed her husband and she did not want to get into trouble. The neighbor buried the pistol under a rosebush in his garden. Police were able to recover the pistols from both locations. Although badly decayed, both weapons were determined to be of the same caliber that killed Dolly's husband. She was arrested under suspicion of murder. With Dolly awaiting trial in jail, she pleaded with Shapiro to buy groceries for Otto and to tap on the ceiling of the bedroom closet to let him know he should come out. She also tried to tell Shapiro that the attic-bound Otto was her vagabond brother. But starved for conversation with another male, Otto spilled the truth to Shapiro about the nature of his and Dolly's relationship. Shapiro essentially told Otto to get lost and got Dolly released on bail. Apparently, the fact that she had kept a man in the attic was not a deal-breaker, as the lawyer promptly moved in with her. All charges against Dolly were dropped. That is, until 7 years later in 1930 when things became irreparable between Dolly and Shapiro. He moved out and decided to tell everything he knew about her to the authorities. This time around, she was charged with conspiracy for her husband's murder. But at her conspiracy trial, she was acquitted as her trial resulted in a hung jury, and in 1936, she was cleared of her charges. She remained in Los Angeles until her death in 1961 at age 80. After Shapiro came clean with the authorities, the jury found Otto guilty of manslaughter even after his defense stated that Dolly had enslaved him. The trial became known as the Batman case since Otto had been kept in a secluded, cave-like attic. Nevertheless, the statute of limitations on the manslaughter had run out. Otto was a free man. He changed his name to Walter Klein and moved to Canada, where he married another woman, then eventually relocated back to Los Angeles and lived the remaining of his life in obscurity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more true crime content and check out our other videos on